One of the major reasons donors go away or stop giving less is because they don't know they made a difference. Now, this point just really irritates me to no end, this one point. You all, every one of you is familiar with the feeling you have when you've done something nice for somebody and they didn't thank you. And yet, buried in all the systems of our organizations, and certainly in this organization, and buried in the way we treat our donors and everything else, is sort of this swipe of the hand in some situations that gives the donor a feeling of not being valued, not being important, not making a difference. I had a situation in New York. This organization was about $180 million a year, and they had this big, end of the year, November, December thing going on. Now, pay attention to the dates I'm going to tell you. I'm up there on March 1, and I'm walking through the offices, and there's a table, probably a little bigger than this, with a stack of envelopes. I mean, there's got to be 800, 1,000 envelopes there. And I said, well, what's this? Oh, those are gifts that came in back in our November, December push. And I said, oh, really? May I look at it? Sure. So I picked one up. I said, oh, I noticed the checks are gone. Oh yeah, we got those in before December 31. But it's March 1, and you haven't processed it. You haven't talked to the donors. I was getting really uptight about this because it's like, what is wrong with you people? These are human beings, and you're a faith-based organization. You should have even a bigger reason. I was really getting uptight. And that's part of my little Latin culture here, getting emotional. So I said, well, so what happened? Well, we put in a request back in August of last year to finance. We were going to spend about $26,000 more to get some extra help in accounting and donor processing and receipting and all that. And they just wouldn't approve it. I thought to myself, okay, well, I know you've lost more than $26,000. In fact, you lost way more than $26,000 leaving those things on that desk. Had a meeting with the CEO later that afternoon, and I'm just about ready to bite my tongue off because I am really wound up about the fact that we'd just done the analysis for that organization, and they had lost $42 million in donor value attrition while they're squabbling over $26,000. Now, this is almost approaching being immoral. There's something wrong. And so we had a little discussion, and I was nice and all that stuff. I said, you know what, sir? I just have to say something to you. Just your Christian values should have you treating these donors differently. And for $26,000, the bigger thing that's going on here is you lost $42 million. And I showed you the analysis. And I was thinking inside, privately, anybody with half a brain can sort all that out and say to themselves, we're going to spend this money differently. So anyway, there's these kinds of stories that we collect and so on, but here's my point. Why don't we pay attention to these donors and value them and love them more? Because all they want to do is satisfy their own passions and interests, and they themselves have a calling. We would do it with our family, we would do it with our friends, but somehow these donors are whatever.